Hey guys, my name is Josh, and welcome to my first video. Today I'm going to be working on, I'm going to be taking my bandsaw and using some advice from the Sergeant and Zim's Jeep, and trying to stiffen it up because it's got a fair bit of vibration, and I'm just not real happy with it. I know I can make it better. Of all the tools in my shop, it's probably the least used tool. I think I've had it for 2 or 3 years, but I've probably only used it 4, maybe 5 times, and a lot of that's just because I'm just not real happy with how it performs. But I know that I can make it better. So what we're going to be doing today, or what I'm going to be doing today, is I'm going to stiffen up the base by adding a piece of 3/4 ply underneath the saw and the belt bracket and the motor to stiffen that up. And I've also got a cheap dolly that I made before, just out of 2x4 and some small casters. So I'm gonna resize that slightly so that it'll fit underneath the base, and that way I won't chip up my basement floor anymore. As you can see, I got a lot of chipping just going from my table saw and moving this bandsaw around. So yeah. First, I had to cut down the piece of 1/2-inch ply to size. Then I had to work on reassembling the mobile base. I found a piece of scrap Luan that I used to make sure that the 2x4 runners were perfectly parallel. Then I remounted the wheels, making sure to keep them square to the parallel runners. Getting the bandsaw up onto the mobile base by myself wasn't the easiest thing to do, but it wasn't too hard. I didn't have any washers or lag bolts to tie down the bandsaw with, so I ended up using some 2-inch wood screws with scraps of 1/2-inch ply as washers. Once it was secured, I then unmounted the belt guard, the motor, and the bandsaw itself. Next, I cut the new top to size from an old scrap of 3/4-inch ply. Drilling and cutting the slots and holes in the piece of plywood was tedious, but I made sure to slightly oversize them so feeding the bolts back through wouldn't be that difficult. Then I reattached the bandsaw, the motor, and the belt guard. It's really important to make sure that the pulleys on the bandsaw and the motor are coplanar so that there isn't any unnecessary stress on the belt. Alright, so I finished attaching the belt guard and the motor and making sure that the pulley was all in line, or the motor was all in line with the pulley on the bandsaw. And it's a whole lot stabler. My floor is really unlevel, so it kind of shakes a little bit still, but passes the nickel test off and on. But I know once I put a belt on there, a new link belt, I'm sure it'll probably be a whole lot better. I know really all I did was sandwich it between some pieces of 3/4 ply with some casters on the bottom, but I'm happier with it. I'm not as afraid to use it or as discouraged to use it anymore. So anyway, that was my first video. So if you watched, thanks for watching. And my next video is going to be a new mobile base for my table saw, because I hate that mobile base.